grave. When the morning breaks, I'll be driving wide awake, 'cause I've been running so long, can't recall what it means to stay. 'Cause I let you slip away like water right through my hands. Oh honey, your love's like rain in the desert to a thirsty man. Yeah, a thirsty man. You know I've seen the mountains and the flatlands too. I've seen all these city streets, but I still go out searching for you. In the captain's chamber, there's a ball and chain. You can run for 1,000,000 miles, but you never outrun your name. When the morning breaks, I'll be driving wide awake, because I've been running so long, can't recall what it means to stay. 'Cause I let you slip away like water right through my hands. Oh honey, your love's like rain in the desert to a thirsty man. Yeah, a thirsty man. Oh, a thirsty man. When the morning breaks, I'll be driving wide awake, 'cause I've been running so long, can't recall what it means to stay. 'Cause I let you slip away like water right through my hands. Oh honey, your love's like rain in the desert to a thirsty man. Yeah, a thirsty man. Oh, a thirsty man. Yeah, a thirsty man. Hello, my darlings. Hello, hello, hello. We are coming to you live from England. What am I fucking talking about? No, we're coming to you from. I'm coming to you on Restream, on multiple streams now. This is my first Restream test. The first one went a bit pear-shaped because YouTube wasn't working, but this one seems to be working a bit better. It looks like I'm on YouTube, certainly. I'm on Periscope. You can catch me now on Periscope, on D Live. So if you like the D, that's where I'm at. Although I can't actually view myself on D Live, so I can't be sure whether I am on D Live. When I go to D Live's app, it doesn't seem to show me streaming. So I guess the D Live one isn't working. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's saying you're not there. So it says stream is offline. So I'm unsure about the D Live one, but I know I'm on Twitch. So I'm twitching, I'm periscoping, and I am on the YouTubes. So there you have it, boys and girls. I am on all the platforms simultaneously. I'm coming to you from all angles. As far as, let me just double check. Hold on, I'm just checking. I'm just checking. What am I checking? I'm checking Periscope is what I'm checking. Yeah, I want to see if Periscope is still happening. It's still doing its thing. Yes, it is. I'm on Periscope. So let's see. Now, for those of you who are watching on other platforms, please go to Banksy Style Live on YouTube and subscribe and like, because that's where my biggest platform is. That's where I will be doing most of my shindigs. Banksy Style Live, and also Banksy Style on Twitch, but I'm not much of a Twitcher. This is literally my first proper stream on Twitch. So if you want to catch all my goodies, Banksy Style Live on YouTube. Type Banksy Style Live, all one word, no gaps. So boys and girls, what are we doing? We're talking about online dating during the lockdown, or dating in general during the lockdown. Now, I've already had a few pessimistic replies from the old in the YouTube chat. Unfortunately, the YouTube chat is the only chat And also Twitch chat is the only chat that I can actually see. I don't know any other chats at the moment. I'm not sure if I can actually catch myself on any other sort of chat. It's YouTube and Twitch are the only two that I think I can view properly, and really YouTube is the only one that's got anybody in it. So big up to everyone in the YouTubes. On the YouTube chat live, we've got Free Speech, we've got Dexter, Ned, Afghan, Larry, Tarquin, Oliver, Nimrod. Excuse me. Let me just. Oh, that is a cold beer on a hot sunny day. Excuse-moi. Maybe I should self-isolate. So yeah, big up everyone. Kim Jung Pai, good man. Jake O Radio, previously known as Jake O'Connor, the artist formerly known as Jake O'Connor, is in the chat. So big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone watching on all the different platforms. I can't, as I said, I can't guarantee that I can view all of you. Man, something went in the wrong direction. Oh yeah, that's better. That is a hell of a lot better. So, by the way, I've basically rediscovered the wonderful flavor of shandy. This is not just beer. This is actually beer with lemonade. Yes, call me a pussy, but it just tastes so much better. A little bit of lemonade thrown into your ice cold beer. That's awesome. I don't know. I love it. Because beer alone is it's too gassy and it's a little bit too I don't know. It's just not for me. It's not for me. So either way, boys and girls, either way. What are we talking about today? Well, this was because this was a restream sort of test. I didn't want to get it all get all big, do all my major stuff. I just wanted to do a quick little stream, maybe 45 minutes, an hour, I don't know, maybe less, just to talk about dating in during the COVID period. Now, let me flip over to some articles that I found about this. There's a really, really funny one, this one. I like this one, and let me get rid of that one. Oh, no, not that. Not that. Where are you? Where are you? How is it I am unable to get rid of this? Here we are. Nope, no, not that guy. There we go. Okay, check this out. He's just not that into Zoom. Dating in Boise during COVID-19. And this is an article that was written about dating during COVID-19. Now, this is just a little funny headline that I found. That he's just not that into Zoom. I guess comes from that he's not just that into you. And also finding love on lockdown. Oregonians' approach to approach dating in new ways during the age of coronavirus. So yeah, there's a few people trying to figure out how to date. And the reason I did this is because I've actually dated a lady. Yesterday we had our first virtual online date. Yes, I did. Yeah, that's right. Your boy Banksy is on it. He's on it. I'm on it. It's on like Donkey Kong. That's right. I'm all over the Tinder. I'm all over it. I'm all over it like a rash. Perhaps that would not be something I want to bring up during our date, though. But yeah, I had a date yesterday. This was a virtual date. We're actually having another one tonight. And to tell you the truth, I thought it was great. I mean, maybe it's because I'm already used to chatting to people online and FaceTime and being on cam and stuff like that. Maybe it's because it doesn't really throw me. But I just see it as an extension of a phone call, really. It's just, I mean, my process is usually you start off with a text conversation. You first initially, the girl swipes right, you swipe right, so you basically match. If it's Tinder or any of these types, Bumble or whatever. If it's another kind of other types like Hinged or OK Cupid, Plenty of Fish, if it's those types of ones, they allow you to directly message the girl without you having to swipe left or right, which is a different tactic. You have to be more. You have to have a better online game, better text game in that sense. But if it's a swipe left and right type of a app like Bumble and Tinder, then you're looking at an initial match. So you get matched somehow, whatever ways, depending on the site you're using, you establish contact, shall we say. So you just initially establish the initial contact. Hello, how you doing? You start text conversation. Now, for me, as I said, my text game isn't as good as a friend of mine. I've got a friend who's a genius at text game. His text game is supreme. He's on it. He's magnificent. He's like a Shakespeare. He's like a Tinder Shakespeare. He's a Tinder Shakespeare, let's put it that way. The man is just a genius when it comes to his text game. He knows what to say in text, sublime. It's poetry. So he's very good at keeping the conversation going for several days, just purely from text base. He doesn't have to actually have a conversation at voice. I, on the other hand, I find I want to transition to voice conversation very quickly because, again, I'm verbally better. I've got better verbal skills than text skills. And so I, as soon as I establish contact within a couple of days or within a day, I'm looking at exchanging telephone numbers, WhatsApp, or regular phone call, whatever. But it's as long as it's a voice conversation. I don't even care if it's on some kind of platform like Zoom or something. So initially I go to voice, and then I establish a connection, and then if the connection is there, we try to meet up, which is usually the weekend, which kind of I'm still on route for that in this particular scenario, although this is the trick. We did do a video call, which was novel, which was the first time I did a video, and I'm looking to sort of build it up to a face-to-face come Saturday, Sunday, at the park, kind of a picnic. And this is the reason why I wanted to actually do this. Are you sure you haven't been catfished? No, because we had a video conversation. I actually had a 3-hour video face-to-face conversation with this individual. So I don't think that's a catfish, unless she's transgender, which I don't think so, because she has 3 children. So I'm pretty sure this lady is a lady. I don't know. Dude looks like a lady. I'm not sure. I'm going with lady. I'm going with a firm. This is a lady on this one. Goodness. Goddess of the underworld. Okay. But anyway, so actually someone else has wrote, Dexter, I think online dating may see an upsurge after lockdown. Thoughts. I will get to you, Dexter, about that in regards to dating. But generally, I mean, men be thirsty, but women be thirsty too. Women are also thirsty. So generally, 3 children, Banksy, really. Yeah, look, it's not like her children are grown up. They're not kids. These are grown kids now. Grown, adults, more or less. One of them is a teenager. It's not like I'm having to worry about changing nappies, man, at this particular point in my life. I'm going to be a daddy. I don't have to be a daddy. This is a different level of game now. We're older. Most of these women, they've surpassed the wall. She doesn't want kids. I don't want kids. We're good. Actually, I don't know. Since the ethno-nationalists I've been talking to, I might want kids. I might want to pop out a couple of Iranian children. just to please Ralph. I'm thinking about just having children just for Ralph's sake, just to increase the ethnic population of Britain, speed us hurriedly towards that demographic shift. I don't know, but anyway, I'm just talking about dating at the moment during the COVID. Big up the war kettle, my brother from another white mother. Okay. But as far as the dating online is concerned, I think it's quite interesting. I still think you're because I don't know if you guys know, but I'm into game theory. I'm into people like Neil Strauss and Mystery and all those guys. And the thing with game theory is it doesn't matter whether it's in online, whether it's over a video call, or whether it's face to face in person. The basic principles still apply. The principles always apply, and they don't change. So you can still apply those same basic game theory principles in any context, because eventually it's about connection. What it really comes down to is about establishing a unique connection and a unique bond with that person. Big up. Yes, and that's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's a quote. There's a philosophical quote by Bruce Lee, and it's in his book, the Intercepting Fist, the Way of the Intercepting Fist, the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, effectively. And in that book, he says, before I studied the art, now he's talking about martial arts, he's talking about fighting. Now, the pickup game is the Venetian arts, the art of love rather than the art of war. But they're very similar principles. And the principles are, Bruce Lee says in his book, before I studied the art, I thought a punch was a punch and a kick was a kick. When I studied the art, I realized a punch was no longer just a punch and a kick was no longer just a kick. Now that I understand the art, a punch is a punch and a kick is a kick. Now, I don't know if you get this, if you really understand the message here. But the message is that it is very simple. Ultimately, all of this is very simple. It isn't this elaborate gimmick, an elaborate show of show and dance, and you don't have to do as much as you think in order to establish a deep connection with a female. And it is very it's simpler than you think, but that simplicity has tremendous amount of power and complexity within it. It appears simple to the novice, but they don't understand the power behind it. And it appears extremely complicated to the recently initiated, but they don't recognize how easy it can actually be once you understand it. But you have to go through the journey. You have to run the gauntlet to understand it before you can recognize its simplicity and how simple it actually is. All it is just establishing a unique bond, a connection with that other individual, a connection of emotion, intellect, and interest. Just simple interest, just to be interested in that person. That's really what it really boils down to, is am I interested in this individual and the things they have to say? And for 3-4 hours, we couldn't stop talking, me and this lady. It was non-stop. It didn't even feel like 3 hours of just chatting, because she just had so much to say, and she was so interesting. And all I had to do was just encourage her to simply talk. And women love to talk about themselves anyway. I mean, as a man, if you don't recognize the fact that not just women, but most people like talking about themselves, and all you have to do is spark a small amount of interest in their story, and they will tell you their whole life story very easily. And they love it, and they absolutely adore talking about their life and their adventures. And you just have to be a good listener. Really, listening is a good key aspect here, but also being able to ask pertinent questions and keeping the conversation going. Don't let it go flat, which is the best thing. And as I say, if you connect with that person, it's so easy. Some people it's just easy to talk to, and some people are like trying to pull teeth. Trying to get them to have a conversation with you is like pulling teeth. It's just nightmarish. But when it comes to the unique situation of this lockdown, MMA guru now. No, I'm not an MMA guru. I'm not talking about MMA. This is not fighting. This is the art of lovemaking, the art of seduction, if you will. So I'm not even saying I'm an expert even at that. I'm just saying that I've recognized certain level of understanding about it, that it makes it easy. And this thing about like being in COVID and it's difficult. It's not. It's not. Face to face, yes, you will, it might be hard. And now we can meet one person outside of our household. That's all you need. You don't, what do you want to date 3 women at the same time and the same hour? No, you just want to meet one person at that, that you click with at the right time. So you meet that person eventually, and you can establish a physical connection afterwards. But initially, you have to establish a psychological connection anyway. I mean, even if you go to a restaurant, even if you go to a bar, you're not going to be just diving on each other and start banging each other on the table in the middle of Starbucks or whatever you're meeting. So you're going to have to establish that psychological connection anyway. Don Banksy, the chick. No, this is the misunderstanding, Ned. It's not about being sort of chick magnet or so. It's just, how many women in your life do you really want to be with? I only need one out of the 4. There's about 7 billion people on the planet. Half of them are women, so 4.5 billion women. I don't need 4.5 billion women. I just need one. That's all I need, is one woman, and I just need to find that one woman that is into me. And you have a pretty good odd. Doesn't matter how you look. Clearly, it doesn't matter how you look, because look at this. If this can find a woman that likes him, then any man can. There is no man on this planet. There is no man. I don't give a shit. I mean, short of you being in a catatonic state, any man can find the woman. Any man can find a connection with a woman. Men who complain about not getting women they're just not trying. They're just not making the effort. That's all I have to say to you guys. Those of you who are not with a woman and are moping around and bitching about how you don't want, it's because you want the women that are outside of your class, outside of your category. I'm sorry. If you're punching above your weight, and you want to punch above your weight, you're gonna struggle, okay? You're not gonna be able to step in the ring with Mike Tyson and knock him out. You're just not. Those are some things in your life which you have to accept. You will never outrun Usain Bolt unless he's 85 and in a Zimmer frame, or maybe in a fucking wheelchair. And even then, I think he'll probably beat us. So there are certain things in your life that you're not going to get. So if you're not going to get that one particular Barbie doll looking, porn star looking woman, that isn't the be and end all. That isn't the end of your sexual, adventures in life. You just have to be realistic to some extent about the type of women that you are most likely to get, and also be realistic about the fact that Barbie doll, believe it or not, that Barbie doll is going to give you a world of shit. You don't actually want the Barbie doll. I know your dick tells you want the Barbie doll, but you don't actually want that Barbie doll, because that Barbie doll is a fucking nightmare. You know how much of your life and emotion and psychology and everything you have to invest in keeping that Barbie doll happy. How do you know you're wait? You know what I mean, Dexter. You know what I mean. But you know how much you have to invest of yourself to keep that Barbie doll happy? You think these Barbie doll women, these Instagram thoughts and these Twitch thoughts are just kept happy just willy-nilly? No, they are a fucking nightmare. They're a nightmare to keep happy. Trust me when I tell you that you will invest most of your fucking life, most of your being in trying to keep those Barbie doll types happy. And yet you'll have scores of women who are wonderful people, who are just amazingly nice, easy to get on with, won't give you a fucking load of shit 24/7. And they may not be the 10s, they may not be the 9s, but believe me, you are far better off with a 7 or an 8 that will give you a peace of mind, that will love you for who you are, than to be with a bitch of a 10 that will fucking drive you to fucking suicide. I know it sounds like, it sounds crazy, but sometimes you have to. I mean, I guess maybe as a young man, though, I don't blame you. As a young man, your dick dictates most of your fucking thoughts. But I will promise you this: that in life you will recognize that those tens, those nines and tens, most of the time are a fucking nightmare. It is literally a unicorn of a 10 or a 9 to be to be amazingly good looking and also be chilled. I mean, I don't want to name names, but you guys, most of you know Amy Kay. Now she definitely categorizes as a 9 and probably a 10, in depending on which circles. In most cases, she'll be a 9, depending on what your taste is. But in my category, I put her in a high 8, 9 most of the time. Even with other women around, she will still rate as a 9 in most circles. And she's a pretty chilled individual. That is a unicorn, people. That is a diamond in the desert. You don't come across women like that often. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what she's like as a girlfriend, because the people do change their attitude as girlfriend. But she comes across as an incredibly chilled individual, and that is a rare event. Trust me when I tell you, 99% of women who are that good looking are not that chilled. They are uptight, up their own arse, uppity, fucking nightmares to deal with. So don't look at those. Don't go after the unicorn. Don't try to find that diamond in the desert. Recognize that is a rare event. That is not your average good-looking girl. Most of the time, they're fucking bitches. Most of the time, they're demanding as fuck. And it all depends on really what you want. But I know your eyes tell you. I know your dick is telling you, go for that big-titted, fucking collagen injected lipped, all plastic surgery done up girl, or the one who wears those extremely high heels and the extremely short mini skirt. Yeah, I know the platinum blonde is the one that your eyes and your dick want, but trust me when I tell you, your brain should intervene occasionally. And interject and tell you that the one that's actually a little bit further down, that's like next to the blonde bombshell, probably the slightly more quieter, the slightly more reserved brunette, she's probably better off. You're better off with her. She's probably far better for you in your life in the long term than that blonde bombshell, because the blonde bombshell, I'm sorry, she's spoiled. Yeah, exactly, Warkettle. Amy is an exception to the rule. She is a rare exception, and eventually some good man will snap her up, and she'll be married and have kids, and hopefully we'll have a great life. But generally, that's not the kind of person you're gonna come across. You're not gonna find an Amy in your everyday life. So don't constantly worry about the Barbie girls. Don't worry about the really the ones that every guy in the club is looking at. Adjust your gaze. And also on Tinder and all these the thoughts that are riddled over. I'll put it this way: my personal rule of thumb is, if a girl has a Instagram account on Tinder, she's a straight up thought. And if she has thousands of followers and then there's like thousands of photos on her Instagram account, all her Barbie doll looking things, forget it. For me, that's a left swipe. You get the fuck away from that one. I know what your eyes and your dick are telling you, but you left swipe that fucking thing, because that is not what you want. That is going to give you a world of shit. That's a world of pain just standing there looking at you. Banksy, you strike me as an Arabic porn star. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Is the Arab porn star look. Look, it's really fucking hot. I wanted to wear a shirt, but it's really hot, and I have to have a fan on, and I can't do it. I can't just, I would normally just be wearing this vest because it's so hot. I'm just wearing this shirt just for you fuckers. So yeah. So as far as the dynamics, I want to get back to this dynamics of dating during the COVID period. Now the dynamics is it doesn't change. The dynamics doesn't change. It doesn't matter the circumstances. I'm sorry. This beer is really gassy. The dynamics and the principles of how you talk to how you talk to women, it doesn't change. You're still going to have to make phone calls. You're still going to have FaceTime. You still have to have a reasonable good text game. But it doesn't matter whether you're not meeting them face to face straight away or not. It's, you still have to keep the emotional, kiss my ass unknown. You still have to keep the emotional momentum going. You have to still be incredibly energetic. You have to express your energy. You have to be positive. You can't just be some negative downer. Don't talk about, how terrible and miserable you are because you've been locked in the house for the last, month, 2 months, whatever. Don't start bitching and moaning about how life is bad. Don't talk about fucking politics. You never talk about politics, and it doesn't matter even if it's corona politics. Avoid politics and religion when it comes to your dating game. Those are terrible, terrible subjects that will immediately fuck your whole date up. So avoid politics, avoid religion. Talk about positivity. Talk about what things you're gonna do. What's the first holiday you're gonna take after this place is done? How you and her are gonna go on holiday together, or the trips you're gonna take when this thing is over. Those are the sort of things you should be discussing. Those are the sort of things you should be talking about. Building that sort of romantic future for the two of you in this sort of story. You're gonna have to spin some romantic future stories of how things are just going to be marvelous with you two, driving a convertible on a beach somewhere. That's the kind of things you should still be talking about. Don't be gloomy, and don't be just a downer. And to be honest with you, for the most part, if you just encourage the woman to talk, she'll take it from there. Most of the time, women just, as I say, love to talk about themselves, love to talk about, love to talk about the things that they're passionate about. You just have to encourage it. All you have to do is just encourage the woman to talk, and that's it. But these principles do not change whether you're in lockdown or you're not. I don't give a fuck if a zombie apocalypse was happening outside. Male-female courtship doesn't change. Hasn't really changed for thousands of years, believe it or not. Male-female interaction hasn't actually moved on that much. We're still principally exactly the same. Of course, if you're in the Middle East, then your father just slaps you around the head and says, "You will marry the 42-year-old. I don't care that you're still 9. I don't care you're 9 years old. Put down the doll and start cooking, woman." So the dynamics change a little bit in the Middle East. But as far as courtship in the Western world is concerned, they're still the same. Yeah, you still have to charm the woman. You still have to get her to have a good conversation with you. Love in the time of COVID. Exactly. Love in the time of COVID, man. Well, that's literally what I had as far as my thoughts on this was concerned. Now, I don't know about you guys. Hold on. Maybe there's something going on. Nope, that ain't it. That's nothing of any significance yet. Okay, boys and girls, what time is it? It's 3:45. I might open this up to a panel. I don't know yet. It's still saying only 2 people viewing. Is there literally only 2 people viewing this stream? I thought it would be more. I genuinely thought there'd be there's 31 people viewing this stream. I think my stream restream is fucking up the whole thing, because in Twitch I've only got 1 person viewing, and the rest it doesn't even say. I don't even know who's viewing this anywhere else in the world or on any of the other platforms at the moment. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think I don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, I'm gonna switch it back to me because on Periscope it seems I'm not viewable. In Twitch, I've only got one person view. Yep, no, I am. I'm viewable. I'm viewable. It's okay. That's not too bad actually. I don't know. I don't really see. I can't keep up with these. There's too many streams. There's other shit going on. It seems to be working, so I'm just gonna go with that. Now I'm gonna switch over to. I don't know what time is it. Okay, I'll give it a 45-minute panel conversation. See how that unfolds. Let's see. What is this? Yep, there you go. Does that look good? How does that look? I want to make sure that it looks okay. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Me likey a lot. Okay, let's open up the panel for a very, very short amount of time and see what people have to say about this. I'm just going to throw the link in. Oh, shit. Well, yeah, the link is only going to be in YouTube. So anyone out there who's watching on any other platform, you get the link to the StreamYard in YouTube if you wish to have if you wish to express your opinions on dating during the COVID period. But I'm going to try to keep it to the dating aspect because I don't want it to just go all crazy and sort of redirect into all sorts of other subjects. I'm not particularly interested in anything else at the moment. I'm interested in if there is anyone out there who is not married or who is interested in dating. All right, we got our first bite. Hold on. Let me just make sure that this is our good friend.
Who else is it going to be?
I don't know. There's a lot of porn bombers, man.
Mate, no one's got the fucking balls to pretend to be me. No one's got the fucking balls.
That's right.
Mate, I got the far right coming after me at the moment. They want to fucking kill me. And I'm like, bring it, cunt. I've told them where I live. Come to Skippel in Paphos, Cyprus. And I am here waiting for you at the square. Anytime.
Damn. Are they seriously coming for you like that?
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of funny threats, but mate, I can't take them serious. They're a joke to me. They're all just a joke.
I know.
So
it's a little bit. I mean, I just see them as like Bart Simpsons.
Children, basically. They're fucking children, mate.
Exactly. Let me see if MC's up in here. Big up, MC.
I want to know.
Hi, big up.
Big up, Pavels. So I want to know, Banksy, when are you going to come out and tell Based Amy how much you love her? Because you went for a long spiel there, and I'm like, that's touching, mate. So when are you going to come out and tell Based Amy that you love her and feel this way about her? I mean, I'm sure she'll be very welcome to your love, mate.
Amy knows I love her anyway. But I love her. I love her like more of a brotherly kind of a love. No, because the thing is, I'm
so lucky compared to you two. Oh shit, yeah, I'm so lucky compared to you, Banksy, especially. There is nobody that loves me more than me and myself, to be honest. So I'm not afraid of being alone.
No, look, what I said was originally, which I still hold to, is being realistic about your sort of where you're at, your options, your situation. You can't just say, I want X and that's it. There are exceptions. Again, there are exceptions to the rule where you can pursue a particular girl and finally win her heart. But for the most part, you have to. It's like judo. There's a principle in judo. It says grip tightly, but let go lightly. So you grip and you go after someone that you want with confidence. But the minute you realize this is not going to work out for me, you let it go and then you move on. So yeah, sure. If you think that you have a chance, go for it. Be confident. Be pragmatic and charming. But the minute you recognize she's not interested, you write that off and you move on to the next option. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying for guys who find a girl attractive and go, oh no, she's out of my league, not to make a move. No, always make a move. Always let yourself, if you're actually interested in a girl, say, I'm interested. I think you're gorgeous. I think
Well,
you're lovely.
can I just say something to that, all Banksy? It's like the thing is, I'm in a league of my own, and it's them who've got to be in my league. Like,
But there
you know,
go.
I don't look at any woman. Mate, oh no, I'll be honest. I've looked at some women, and gone, damn, she's out of my league. But I don't go, oh, I ain't gonna try. I'm like more confident, more gonna get it. And I'll be honest with you, most of the time it's gone even more successful because I'm more confident and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I'm going in, lads.
Absolutely.
I ain't holding back.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I never say don't do it. Always give it a shot. There's a principle a friend of mine uses all the time, and it's basically it's always on. His principle is it's always on, because one time we were at a club, and he came and this girl just walked by him, and she just walked by him. She didn't do anything. She didn't even look at him. She just walked by him, and he was like, "Oh, she wants me." I'm like, "Dude, how can you say she wants you? This is insane." He goes, "No, it's on." I said, "How do you know?" He goes, "Because it's always on. It's always on." It doesn't matter whether she's looked at you or not. It's always on, and that's his philosophy. It's always on, and then he goes off and starts a conversation. Now, it may be that it doesn't actually make it, and it's not on because he just gave it a shot, but it doesn't stop him from trying. The principle of it's always on will give him that motivation and that confidence to go and have a go, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. He's off to the next one. But you never. I'm not saying don't try. What I'm saying is that you give it a shot. It doesn't work out. You go on. Don't become obsessed with this one particular person or one particular girl, because sometimes first of all, that obsession will put her off hugely. So she will be even more unattracted to you. Second of all, you are probably wasting all of this energy and time on a woman who's never going to be into you, and yet you could have actually spent that time finding or talking. Like, instead of spending the whole night, let's say you go to a club, you spend the whole night. Believe me, not only I've done this, my friends have done this. Spend the whole night wanting to talk to one woman.
Banksy, I'll be back.
No worries. Wanting to talk to one woman, and then they do talk to that woman. They spend the rest of the night chasing after that woman, and that woman isn't even interested in them. So they wasted their whole night talking to that one woman, whilst they could have actually spoken to 10 different women and find the one that they actually get on with and the one that actually likes them. And this is the problem. I've seen a lot of men waste their life on a woman that never was into them in the first place, and that includes marriages. That includes all sorts of things. Precious.
Yeah, crushes. I mean,
crutches. Yeah.
3 years it took me to understand that it's not worth it, to be honest. Thankfully, I was 15 when it started, and 18 when it actually was over.
Yeah, I mean,
when my hormonal fuel have burned itself out for that girl.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, again, if you like a girl, fair enough. Go and say hi, I like you, whatever, and try to make something happen. But it's just the thirsty aspect of it that I find a bit, I think is unattractive.
Oh, you're right. I was very thirsty. Yeah. Oh shit, I was.
Yeah, this is the part that I think men have to recognize. It's this concept of just.
I even have complaints that I will do anything. My eyes.
Yeah. This. Sorry, go on.
I mean, she knew it, but it was only to her advantage. But thankfully, I was 15 when it started, as I have said, 18 when it stopped, and it was a long and hard. I mean, it was a hard and painful lesson, but thankfully, I was over it, and it helped me a lot.
Well, this is the other thing as well. I suppose there is a learning. I mean, if you can take a learning lesson from that.
From that whooping,
a learning experience, yeah, and say, okay, fair enough, I learned something from this, and that in itself is valuable, because you've taken something away and you analyzed it, you sort of what's it called, you reflected on it, and now you're better for it. You're more you're more wiser when you approach your next
Yes.
girl. You know better. So I suppose there is value in that. I'm never going to say there is no value, but you have to you do have to learn from it. If you don't learn from it, they say the definition of madness is doing the same thing, repeating the same thing over and over, expecting new different results. So if you haven't learned from this and you are just repeating the same thing over and over again with the different women, and you're making the same mistakes, then that is just insanity. Again, but what do you think about like this kind of situation where you are unable to see the girl for possibly weeks, maybe if she's too paranoid, even months, but you still want to keep dating her online, knowing that you're not going to physically meet for another 3 months?
Well, that is the first time ever probably in the history of the world that we literally cannot even shake our hands. I mean, such period we had.
Yeah. Yeah. I
In
mean,
the last few months. What do I think about it? Well, it is frustrating. That's what it is.
yeah.
But thankfully, I know how to fill up my time, so I'm not thinking about it. And frankly, I'm single, so it doesn't bother me now.
Well, I mean, actually, was this? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, my only question, my only objection, if you can't physically meet someone, because I see, especially nowadays, especially young girls, far more than older women. Older women, I'm in that sort of older, sort of late 30s, early 40s category. So I'm in a different band, if you like, category than guys who are in their 20s and 30s. And for me, most of the women that I'm interacting with or I meet have already lived a life. They've already had children if they wanted children, and their children quite often have already either grown up or are fine. So they're not fickle. They're not as fickle as younger women. But I can see in this day of over sort of where we have so much entertainment, so much there's so much competition for a person's attention, for a woman's attention, that to keep that emotional momentum going, because when you first meet someone, when you first start to meet someone in a romantic sort of setting, you are excited. It's very emotionally heightened environment, and you're like, oh my god, my heart's beating, she's so gorgeous or he's so handsome, and I can't wait to see him again, and I can't wait to be with her again, etc., etc. So there's this emotional momentum that it's generated. It's kind of like a roller coaster. The problem is, the longer you leave it before you meet her or before you establish a face-to-face connection, the sooner that emotional momentum dies out, it flattens out. And the minute it flattens out, she's on Tinder or she's on another dating app looking for the next guy who's going to give her the same high. It's kind of like a drug. And so you lose her because some other guy is now the new guy who's giving her all those heart palpitations, and she's all excited about him, and that's it. You've lost your emotional momentum because you couldn't establish a face-to-face, a physical sort of a connection that will solidify your connection between her and you. She's off to the next guy because you're just a spike in intensity for her. You're not someone that's real in her life. You're not someone she's actually going to think about or worry about after the conversation or after the few days of conversation is over. You're just some faceless, or not faceless, but you're just some random person on the internet, or even in a nightclub. It happens in nightclubs too, but a lot more
It does,
on the
it
internet.
does.
Yeah. So to keep that emotional connection, to keep that emotional high, it's gonna be tricky, especially if you're looking at trying to keep it for weeks and months. I mean, I think you're lucky especially for young girls of like 20 something, if you can keep their emotional attention and just general attention for more than a few hours. So yeah, you're not talking about actually. As someone says here,
to be honest with you, most of them have told me that I am extremely annoying them, but they stayed anyway with me. So I think that is their special language for me when they are saying I'm extremely annoying.
well, yeah. I mean, if they're
at least I'm not boring, because it's better to annoy a woman than bore the shit out of her.
Well, I mean, I suppose maybe you're. I mean, in one sense, there is this Marmite effect where you can actually be either she loves you or hates you, but she has a strong. Because the funny thing is, people say, what is the opposite of love? And most people tend to say, hate. Actually, hate isn't the opposite of love. Hate is still an emotional intensity towards someone. So if I hate someone, I am still emotionally invested in that person. It's not that I'm not emotionally invested in them at all. The opposite of love is actually indifference. It's the fact that I don't give a shit whether you live or die. I don't give a shit what happens to you, because you're nothing to me. You're no one to me. So indifference is actually the opposite of love, because I have no emotional investment in you in any way. Hating someone is an emotional investment. Loving someone is an emotional investment. If you truly don't care about someone, you don't have any emotional investment. It doesn't mean anything to you. Tomorrow someone could call you up and go, "Oh yeah, Banksy died." And oh, okay. What's on the other channel? That'll be like the maximum amount of emotional reaction you should get from someone who truly doesn't give a shit about you. So that's actually hate. That's actually, the opposite of love. Hate isn't. If you hate someone enough to have that much emotional investment in them, then you're not. You don't actually. You're not. It's not the opposition to love. You're actually still invested in that person. You might be on a negative level, but you are invested in them. They occupy thoughts in your head.
Fortunately, not now.
Yeah.
Fortunately, not now. And I've been through a little bit in my life, so I understand what you are talking about. And frankly, I do hope that I will treat any woman, even the one that I've been married with, like. Okay, it would be nice if she would be staying around, being with her, but let's face it, all relationships end someday, all of them, no matter how beautiful.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there are exceptions again, but you're right. But the thing is, some relationships, some aspects of a relationship ends and another one begins. If you're clever enough, if you're smart enough about your relationships, you will transform your relationships so they're not always the same thing. When you first meet a girl, is not the same relationship as a wife that you've lived with for 30 years. Those are not going to be the same relationships. Those are not going to be the same. You won't have the same emotional intensity. You won't have the same emotional investments in those two. Those are two different things. Different,
Oh, and there's another thing. What if we are addicted towards this emotional intensity? Then there is a fucking problem. Let's face it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is the trick with this is the challenge young men face now. I mean, men who are in their 20s. You yourself are a relatively young man. I think these are the challenges you face. Is that women are like cats that want to play with a string. Now you can dangle the string in front of them and they'll play with it for a while, but if you give them the string, they'll play with it for a bit and then they'll be bored and they'll move on. If you don't give them the string and you dangle the string and you keep them interested at all times, constantly trying to catch the string but never let them fully catch it, then you can keep their attention for quite a bit. But the problem is in the marketplace of dating, in the dating market, there are many people with different colored strings and many exciting strings. So the minute your string becomes a little bit not too exciting, even though you're trying to still manage to keep her keen and interested, you're not fully committing, you're not fully giving her the string, but you're still trying to keep her interest, she just suddenly sees a flashier string with all lights on it and all sorts of laser pointers, and she's off to the other string. It's because that string is so much more interesting. So you have to establish something far more unique, far more. You have to. This is the phase that pickup artists talk about, is that you have to make her recognize you as more than just a fun toy to play with for now. That guy who's dangling the string, you're just a fun toy at that moment, at those initial stages. Now, this is either if you're in a club or if you meet her online or whatever. Because good-looking women, especially beautiful women, they get approached hundreds of times. On an average day. Oh, MC is disconnected. MC, you got disconnected. Okay. MC, you're back. You good?
Oh, thanks. I know why I've been disconnected, but anyway,
yeah,
you're right. But I have to tell you a story. When I was studying in the university, we have to play an act, and frankly, I don't know. But the pickup artist also told you that you have to make yourself unique in a way to the woman, to get their attention towards you. My way of doing that was playing this act. Playing the ghost of a chunky, raising and lecturing anybody. But
I don't understand. What is a ghost of a chunky?
I mean, of a drug abuser, maybe. That's what I want to say.
A junkie. Oh, I see.
Oh, yes.
I see.
Oh, the English of a non-native speaker.
That's a unique approach. I've never thought of it that way.
I mean, the hottest girls have then come to me after I have done it, to be honest. I was like recognizable immediately.
Wow. Okay. I've never seen or heard of that particular approach.
I mean, because I have played a role in a theatrical act, because we have to organize it.
Oh, I see. You were actually in a theater. This wasn't like you were playing, like, pretending to be some kind of junkie.
It was an amateur act, but
okay. This was in theater. Okay, go on.
I think it was good enough to get their attention.
It is to again. The thing I wanted to finish on was, yes, you can catch their attention for some time, but unless you become a real person in her life, like a person that she's invested in emotionally, that she cares whether you live or die, effectively, that's when you transition from just a fun guy, the fun, quirky guy, or the guy, the new toy that she has in her life. Then you have to transition from just that toy that she just found that she's going to play with and get bored after 5 minutes, to a person that she genuinely cares about, that she has genuine emotional investment in. And that's the transition that you have to make relatively quickly, either online or in a club, in order for her to actually be invested in you, in order to be interested in you, beyond just, oh, he's just another fun toy that I've just discovered on Tinder or in this club. This, by the way, this all works on the same. This is what I'm saying about the principles being the same, be it online or in a club, is that they all work on the same thing. They all work on human emotions. That's why they don't change, whether you're doing it on Tinder or whether you're doing it in a club or whether you're doing it in a bar or what, or, most casual situations, even at a party with some friends or at a barbecue. You have to establish that you are more than just some fun guy that she's going to be with for a very short amount of time. You are someone who she wants to be emotionally invested in. And that's the trick. The trick is to transition from the fun guy to the guy that she, A, is sexually attracted to, and B, that she is emotionally invested in. And there are ways to do that. Some of them can appear to be a little bit manipulative, but there are genuine ways that you can actually then, do that. You can transition to that.
I had it once, both of them, but I have to let it go, and I really, we have to really split our ways. But it's her fault. She shouldn't lie to me and try to change me. I am not to change. I'm unchangeable if I don't want to.
Well, I don't think you should necessarily be a person to change or want to change or even want to change the other person or be willing to sacrifice everything to for her either. I mean, everybody. I know a lot of women who find a guy who isn't their perfect guy. These women are called investors. There are investors, and then there are. What was the other term? I forgot. There's another term for a woman who is. There are a couple of personality types. Now, this isn't all women. This is a couple of very large groups of personality types in women, where there are those who will find a guy who isn't the perfect guy, but are willing to invest the time to mold him into the guy they want. And then there are women who date multiple men and then pick the one that is the closest to the one they like. They won't try to necessarily change him. They just find the one that is closest to the one that they find to be the ideal man. So you have to recognize what kind of woman you're with. Is she an investor, or is she... I said there's a term for
well,
yeah.
Her one of her investments actually have turned me off to her, like really big time. It was in the end. I mean, because we were both atheists, to be honest. But she, to please her family, and was more concerned in the end what the surrounding my say of thinking of it, keeping up appearances. She wanted to convince me somehow or get me into having a church wedding, and and I have quite a fanatical approach to it. That there is no compromise, to be honest with that, and that's how we have gone our ways. And I have told her right from the beginning, nothing. In no way I would do anything for a theater for the rest of the people just to show. Every way we are doing for ourselves because we want to please ourselves, or we are not doing anything at all. And that was with everything we have done together. But this time I didn't want to make that sacrifice.
How long were you with this person?
3 years.
Okay, so that was a reasonable investment. Were you guys living together or were you separate?
We were living together in the end.
Oh, so you were living together towards the end then?
Yes, I mean for the last year, to be honest, I wasn't hearing that.
Okay. But
the thing is, her cowardism, really, because she could not stand up to her family, and she could not do what I am doing all the time. Don't give a shit what the surrounding society says, and sometimes even about what my own family. I will help my own family, but don't demand from me to do something what is against my values and beliefs, and going right to walk the walk and not only talk about it. That would be a rape. You understand? That would be a rape on my personality from her.
Possibly. That's
That was funny, to be honest, because she have accused me of immaturity. Yeah. Oh yeah, a person that is afraid to live her life would accuse me of immaturity. I mean, as she wants to.
I don't know. I don't really. It's the problem.
I mean, the argument, but what other people will say, what the family will say, what also she have said that to me. What mommy and daddy here will say if we are going to not have a church wedding, even if she's a fucking atheist like me. I was like, no shit. I will not let you regulate my life. I mean, I will not let your family regulate my life through you. I thought to myself, if I'm going to start now, She came with other demands from mommy and daddy. No shit, not gonna happen.
Yeah, I suppose there is that. I mean, was there any was there any way that was there any? I mean, was that like a line that you would not compromise on? That was like a deal breaker.
Well, Banksy, this is Poland, but basically it's a more of a family-oriented culture, but.
Sure.
But I have my yes, I have my strict demarcation lines that I will not compromise on. One is that if I am living together with somebody or even on my own, I am living the way I want to live. No, at least until I will going to not will not interfere or make somebody else's life harder. And no, the family just for the sake of the show, of the theater, of all that celebration, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the family wanted to have me with her at wedding because they want a fucking party, because Polish parties are like, and weddings are sometimes 3 fucking nights long, okay? Lots of vodka, lots of food, and yes, it's a huge amazing party, but I have to go to church first, and I have a conflict with the church, and I will not compromise or give it up. I don't care how Catholic the country is. Somebody have to start it, and I will not be cowarding on it, because she is more concerned to have a normal family life, in a sense normal that she will give in to the rest of the society, even with that.
Yeah. Well.
And I know it because I have my friends. I have my friends that have also become simps, and to be honest, maybe not cocks, but what is the other English word for a guy that is doing everything what a woman wants? You know, with time when
Simp,
she's
cuckold.
Oh, yes, many of them have become simps because they have given in on the on one of the biggest values first, and then the women have started to take more and more and more, and finally they have become a shell, an empty shell without any personality in their relationships.
Yeah, that's. I mean.
And I would be forced to go to church, I promise you, because it would be. But how are we going to convince the children? You are not going. They are telling to me, but daddy doesn't want to go. Well, because daddy will not go.
Damn.
And they are doing it. They are it is, and they have been forced, and they are simping, and going there because they were weak.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's hard. You see, this is where I've got some sort of conflicts, if you like, in my philosophy of should a man simp, or should a man is it simping to compromise for your wife and your children because you want to keep the family together? You want to, make sure that your children grow up with a mother and a father in the same household, or is it just you trying to actually, do whatever you need to do? You're basically willing to sacrifice your happiness, your future, for your children, in order to make sure your children grow up without having to worry about a divorced parent, or just generally grow up with both parents in the household rather than parents separated and all that. So if a man has a wife and children, and he is compromising his happiness in life for that, I don't know if that is a justifiable simping.
That's the point.
You know what
That's
I mean?
the point.
That's to me, I find that hard to say that this man is being a simp. I think he's just simply being a loyal father, and he's laying down his happiness. He's sacrificing his life's happiness for the sake of the children. Now, if a man is doing this and he's single and he's 20 years old and he has his whole life ahead of him for some thought who is just purely taking advantage of his good nature, then yes, I can say that's sort of fucked up, and that man should stand up for his own, for himself, because he has he's 20, 21, whatever, 25. He has his whole life ahead of him, and this woman is purely taking advantage of his situation. So there are difficult choices, I think. Now, there's something I want to show you, MC, and I want you to give me some opinions on this. This is from a system called the Pandora box. I will explain it to you, and I want to know your thoughts on this because it's I think it'll be quite interesting. Now I'm going to switch over for the audience, and then I'm going to share my screen for you, so you can see it at the same time as the audience. Yeah. Bear with me. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
I can. Yes.
Okay. And can you see what I'm seeing? Can you see the PDF?
Oh, I can see the PDF. It's the Pandora's box system. You can get the types from the following.
Yeah, this is actually part of a pickup system, part of game, the game theory. Now this is a different system to the other ones that people like Mystery and stuff use. But I find it quite interesting in the sense that they've established there are three main conflicts in a woman's life: time, sex, and relationships. These are the conflicts that women face. In fact, I mean, men to some extent face this as well, but not as much as women, due to the fact that women have a a biological clock. So women can only have children up to a certain age, and beyond that, and also even they can only have healthy children at a very short window, which is usually in their 20s and late
20 to 30.
20s. Sorry.
I mean, if you're going to pass 30, there are higher chances of the kid being born not so healthy anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So time is a factor for a woman far more than a man. Sex,
yes, I know.
And relationships are the other two factors. Now, the time aspect has kind of forced women into having two types of coping mechanisms. And those two coping mechanisms, these are the two that I was trying to tell you about, the tester and the investor. The tester is the one that actually dates multiple men and finds the one that's closest to them, to their personality type, and the one that they find most suitable. And then they'll just reject all the other men and just settle down with that one that's closest. Whilst the investor finds a man or settles with a man that isn't necessarily the ideal man, but will invest the time to mold that man into the man that they want. And the sexual aspect is again, women have established kind of two, at least this is, by the way, this is according to this system. It's not necessarily everything that I believe in, but it is very close to some of the things. Some of them are, they hit the nail on the head. For example, with sex, there are two types of personality types, two coping mechanisms. Again, the deniers and the justifiers. There are a lot of women who will deny that they sleep around with a lot of men. And so they just they sleep around with men, but they pretend that they don't. They deny the fact that they have sexual partners at all. And then the justifiers are like, well, I'm a strong, independent woman in a Western world, and I can sleep with who I want. Don't slut shame me. So that's the justifier. And then in the relationship aspect, they have the realist and then the idealist. Again, the realist coincides with the tester, where they recognize that they may not be able to change a man to become the ideal man that they want, so they'll find the man that's close without having to change him. And the idealist is more inclined towards the investor, where they will find a man that isn't particularly close to the one they want, but they have an idealized vision of what they can change him into. So and also they have idealist aspects of romantic visions of life with great with a wonderful marriage with a couple of kids, a picket fence, the fantasy Cinderella,
yes, I know this.
The Cinderella image. And these aspects, these coping methods they kind of you can break it down to these types of personality types. So you can have the tester, the denier, and the realist. So you can have the TDR, which is number one. Effectively, what you can do is, giving these coping mechanisms, you can establish this formula, and these are the formulas that you can see here underneath. And given this formula, you can then gauge the type of personality type your woman is, and then develop a methodology in which you can, as a man, cater to that personality type. If you want to be with this woman long term, or if you want to, you really love this woman, but you recognize this is her personality type, and then you adjust accordingly in order to cater to that personality type, or compromise in the areas because you know that this is the type of woman that you're with, and this is the kind of things. This is, to me, this setup. And by the way, I wrote this myself. This isn't from the Pandora's box system. I created this from the Pandora's system after looking at, after going through the Pandora's system, and then I established this page. That formula is so atypical of a man trying to figure women out. Like, I wrote this years ago. I wrote this like over 10 years ago now, where I found the system, and it was like, when I look at it now and I think this is so atypical of a man systemizing or categorizing, formulating, creating a formula for women.
It's funny, but I get you. I understand you. To be honest, because just as me, you have been brainwashed from your childhood that women are beyond human. They are those angelic creatures that cannot do no harm or any bad things to us, and that's why you have this list and you have this system now. But I would really promote some book for you, written by a German woman of Argentinian descent. Her name was Esther Viral, and it was The Manipulated Man. That's the dark side of marriage in general and those long-term relationships. But all men have to read it, especially the young ones. But if you are interested anyway, read it. You've been. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like anything too realistic or too brutish in telling you the truth, then don't. But if you like the truth as it is, just as then I recommend it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I am interested. I actually send me or write it in the side chat or even in the main chat, and I'll pick that up.
I can give you.
Yeah, because I'm always interested. I mean, let's be honest. The female-male interactions, female-male courtship is one of the most important. Not important, but one of the most. I guess it has. I don't know if I don't want to use the word important, but one of the most intriguing, one of the most personal things in our lives. It's something that affects all human beings. Male, female, homosexual, heterosexual, unless you're asexual, that you don't have sex at all, and you're not interested in male-female interaction, unless you're literally asexual, then, excuse me, male-female interaction is definitely something that touches us all at some point in our lives. We can't escape it. It's not something that we can. Thank you for the private chat. That's awesome. I'll look that up. So
I mean, there is a PDF version of it.
Oh, that's brilliant! I'll grab it now. But yeah, so for me, the interesting thing is that. Sorry, not use the wrong words. For me is I'm interested in anyone and anything, anyone who's studied, who's excuse me, who's been looking at male-female interaction. Have you ever read the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus?
Well, long time ago. Maybe I should read it once again because it was holy shit.
Yeah, it is. It's. I mean, I read the like a PDF version of the book. Oh my god, it's got to be like 15 years ago now. But the funny thing is, there's a few things that stuck with me. I read it a few times over the years. It wasn't just once. The Manipulated Man. Oh, that's brilliant. That's actually very good. I'll I'll look into this, because it's not only these sort of studies, these sort of these sort of books and stuff that are written, like The Manipulated Man, the pickup artistry. They are not just exclusive to that realm. They are about human beings. Like Robert Greene, he wrote a book called what was it? Oh my God! Hold on. Let me find it. Robert Greene's books. Hold on. There we go. The 48 Laws of Power, for example. Mastery. There's another one. There's just so many Robert Greene books that are just amazing. But like 48 Laws of Power, I've gone over that 2-3 times now, at least, just to try to get it into my brain. Then there was another one actually. Come on, hold on. I'm trying to find these Robert Greene. There was another one which was called. There's the 48 Laws of Power, the 33 Strategies of War. Again, another great one, and The Art of Seduction. That was the first Robert Greene book that I actually read. Now, believe it or not, as much as people might think that these are something to do with like the art of seduction, initially I thought this was to do with like picking up women. Nothing to do with really picking up women. This is to do with every human interaction you have with other people. This isn't about picking up women at all, for the most part. This is to do with how you talk to other people, how you manipulate them into circumstances, and try to win friends and influence people. That's another good book actually. But yeah, that's what this art of seduction actually is. It's not even about women or men in particular. It's about how you actually talk to people, how you interact with people. That's really the crux of it, and that's what makes it so brilliant. Because he talks about politicians for the most of the time, but he also talks about personality types as well in the book. The social butterfly, and there was a few others which I forgot actually. So for me, the interest of just picking up or interacting with women, or courtship of men and women, went beyond just courtship of men and women. It actually went beyond. It became more of an understanding of human interaction, human to human psychology, and how we inadvertently, even without even knowing it, manipulate the people around us to sort of think our way or do the things we want them to do. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious, but it's fascinating. It's amazing stuff. Someone says here, can you discuss Paul Golding's terrorist conviction? Paul Golding's terrorist conviction. I'm presuming you're talking about
Yes.
Paul Golding from Britain First. Well, he got convicted of terrorist charges.
Okay, I already even feel sorry for Britain even more for now when I'm hearing such shit.
Oh my God! Let me. I had no idea, to be perfectly honest. I thought I'll have to look this up, because I actually don't know anything about it. Someone let me do a quick little googling. So how about you, MC? Apart from the book that you just recommended to me, which I'm gonna definitely get a hold of, what other sort of things have you gone down? What rabbit holes of human interactions have you ever gone down?
Well, first and foremost, we all know from our life experience that nothing is unconditional. No love, no friendship, no nothing. Because let's face it, there have to be a condition for all of those things to keep them on. Let's face it. I mean, even even when the woman is not typically like from the stereotype that she doesn't look for your money or very good looks, but you have to give her something what she never have been given before, for example. That's one of the conditions, and that's a big condition.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, let me bring this up, this article, and I'll share my screen with you, MC, so you can actually see it as well. Or actually, if you just, are you able to see the stream at the same time as the?
Maybe
Are you on your phone?
1 second later, but I can see.
Okay, yeah, because this is a still article, so I can just read it live together, and we can both, as long as you can see it, that's the main thing. But yeah, apparently, Britain First leader Paul Golding convicted of Terrorism Act offence. Paul Golding, who denied the charge, was handed a conditional discharge for 9 months and ordered to pay £21 surcharge and £750 in costs. Wasn't really that much of a punishment. So basically, he's got 9 months, which he's been discharged, handed a conditional discharge. So he has been discharged for 9 months. For a 9 months. I see. He's been handed a discharge for 9 months. What the hell is this? Okay, that's nothing. Interesting. Okay, the leader of the far right. They haven't spoken to Mark Collette yet, have they? If they think he's a far right, if they think Golding is far right, this is the problem, man. These newspapers and these Huffington Post and shit, they post things like far right, the leader of the far right political group, Britain First. Dude, you don't know what the fuck far right is.
Go to my country. I don't know what should I call my country far-right organizations, and trust me, we have them.
Exactly.
Oh, shit, I would like to see them calling that.
Exactly. That's the problem. These guys, they make these fucking... This is why nobody trusts the fucking mainstream media anymore, because they make these bullshit statements, and then you go and you actually find out, oh no, this guy's actually pretty fucking milquetoast. And all he's got is really mostly, Golding is mostly about Muslims at the moment.
Oh yeah, the sacred cow group that you cannot criticize.
Yeah, exactly.
How surprising.
Yeah, the leader of the far-right political group Britain First has been found guilty of an offence under the Terrorism Act after refusing to give police access to his mobile phone on his return from a political trip to Russia. So because he didn't let them see his mobile phone, he's been found under the Terrorism Act. Damn. Paul Golding. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no love for this guy. This guy is he's a woman beater. He's actually beaten up women, which to me makes him immediately a fucking bitch. So fuck this guy from the off, because he fucking puts his hand on women. But having said that, this seems like a bit of a bullshit charge. I wonder. I mean, I suppose the women that he put his hand on never really took it to the police by the looks of it. So that's why he's not up on charges for them. He should be up on charges for fucking battery, rather than fucking bullshit terrorist charges. He was stopped at Heathrow on October 23rd last year, on his way back from Moscow, by officers from the Metropolitan Police. First of all, what did he do? He refused to give them the PIN for an iPhone and Apple computer, and was later charged with willfully refusing to comply with a duty under Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act. This is bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit. This is such a bullshit charge. Fucking hell. So if the police... So effectively, we live in a fucking fascist state. If they take your laptop from you and you don't give them access to it, they'll fucking bring you up on terrorism charges. Motherfuckers. This is fucking some fascistic shit right here. Golding denied the charge, but was found guilty of the offence following a trial at Westminster Magistrates Court in London on Wednesday. Chief Magistrate Emma, oh my god, of course, it's a fucking, probably SJW woman. Emma Arbuthnot, I don't know how to pronounce that fucking name, ruled there was no doubt that Golding had failed to comply with the request of the information, despite his obligations being explained to him and being warned over and over that if he did not, he risked arrest. So basically, the fascists told him he has to show his papers. Show me your papers. Where is your papers? He did not show papers. You go to the gulags. She handed Golding a conditional discharge for 9 months and ordered him to pay £21 surcharge and £750 in costs. Giving evidence earlier, PC Roy O'Connor, a border officer with the Met who questioned Golding, told the court that Schedule 7 enables accredited officers to speak to people in order to make a determination of whether they are or have been concerned in the commission, operation or instigation of acts of terrorism. The officer, this is fucking bullshit Nazi shit right here, and then Golding is the one they call the fucking right-wing fascist. This is fascistic fucking thing, that if your personal property, if you don't hand over your personal property and have the fucking fascist stormtroopers run through your personal stuff. This is why you don't take your regular mobile. I mean, if I was someone like Goldie, knowing that I'm going to some kind of probably went to some kind of conference in Russia where he was talking about, we have to have the fucking throw the Muslims down the well so my country can be free. So that's the problem. If you're talking about that sort of shit, then yeah, you take a fucking Nokia 3200 with you. You don't take a fucking iPhone. You take a fucking Nokia 3200. And you don't, your laptop, you take a blank deleted laptop where all it's on it is whatever sort of basic paperwork that you need. That's it. You just take an empty laptop, a fucking Nokia 3200, and you say, fine, there you go through all my shit, you're free. to look at all of the shit that I have upon me. Well, that's the thing. These people don't think ahead. You know what I mean? Because now you got to realize you got to play the game right. If you're gonna go, if you're some fringe activists like Golding is, and you know that these fuckers are gunning for you, they're gonna come with all sorts of bullshit charges. Well, you don't go to Russia to some fucking probably right-wing conference with your fucking iPhone.
Of course. But I have to tell you another thing. And now you know why I don't want to reveal my face here, to be honest, on your show. Because I know that I may not be allowed to enter Britain from the airport. Because I have said so many nasty shit and so controversial and sometimes so inflammatory, not to mention wanting to bomb my own country with a bomb the size of the Tsar Bomba if my country would become a Muslim state. That once. And that's why I don't want anybody to know my true identity, to be honest, wherever I live, what I'm doing, whatever. That's taboo for them, because I know that the police sooner or later would check that, would want my laptop. Doesn't matter if I'm an activist. Who knows? Maybe one day I will be more popular. Okay, thought crime from 10 years ago. I'm sorry, sir, but your presence in Britain could cause offense. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, this is the problem. Look, Mr. Chavans says the UK police aren't perfect, but they're the best. No, they're not. They're fucking losing people's trust every day. These Jobsworth fucking little bitches who tell people, "Oh, move along. Are you standing two people in a park? You're less than 1 meter 95." apart, you're gonna have to separate. This is the UK police are losing respect of ordinary law-abiding taxpayers right now, let alone people who are on the fringes like Goldie. I read this, I'm not a fan of fucking Paul Goldie. Fuck Paul Goldie. But when I read this, I see fascistic fucking tactics taking place where the UK border guards and the UK establishment are trying to fucking run a kangaroo court. They are fucking railroading this man. This to me is obvious that this man's being railroaded. That this is bullshit. I don't care about the individual. I'm talking about what is happening in this country and what its establishment of this country are trying to do. This is a bullshit charge. Just so that the Huffington Post can have a headline: Britain First Leader Paul Goldie convicted of terrorist act offences. Terrorist act offences? This is a terrorist act? Not to give the fucking police your PIN number of your mobile phone or the password to your laptop is now a terrorist act. This is bullshit. This is bullshit on any fucking level. This is a bullshit charge. And when police do that, what happens is when a real fucking terrorist, when some fucking al-Baghdadi Yusuf Muhammad, who comes from fucking, who's just recently returned from fucking Syria, doesn't give his fucking PIN number to his phone and his fucking laptop, and he actually has bomb making information or terrorist information on those devices, people are going to look at this and go, yeah, they're railroading him as much as they railroaded this fucking Paul Goldie stuff. This is pathetic. This is bullshit. That's the problem. People won't have respect for either one anymore. They're going to lose the fucking faith, the good faith of the people of the nation. And what are the police when the people no longer respect them? When the people will no longer cooperate with them? Their job depends on us having respect for their establishment. And this kind of bullshit doesn't help. This doesn't help their case. This doesn't help their position as a respected organization in our society. People are going to look at the police with disdain. Good, honest, tax-paying people. I'm not talking about some fucking hoodie from Speaker's Corner, some dude who's like fam this and fam that, the Galdams. I'm not talking about those fucking guys. I'm talking about just regular people. I'm not talking about respect and Jedi not having respect for the police. I'm talking about your average middle-class fucking guy who's the orthodontist, the lawyer, the fucking school teacher. They're not going to have respect for the police anymore. They're losing respect for the police are losing the faith of those individuals, which is incredibly dangerous in a society. And but anyway, sorry.
To be honest,
go on.
They have also made wife beater basically a martyr now.
Exactly. Oh my fucking god. Yes, go. Keep going.
And by the way, if the police is acting like that, they are really giving me flashbacks from the stories of my parents and grandparents and the elderly, how the police were in those good old times of behind the Iron Curtain. To be honest, that's how British police is behaving in an increasing manner. And I'm waiting for a moment when they finally they're going to pacify the demonstrations of people that would have, for example, pro-Brexit demonstration. Maybe not anymore, but something similar to that, with guns, to be honest, and even crushing them with tanks. I'm just waiting for those times now, because this is where it is going, and hearing stuff like that. I'm really less and less regretting that I have left Britain, to be honest, because Britain is in no way a free country, especially when I have heard I read the law about the Communications Act from 2003. I mean, really, for causing offense, annoyance, or upsetting somebody, I can go to jail. Oh, so in other words, now I may upset somebody on the internet because I hate this law. To be honest, if I would copy this law and put it on every piece of my toilet paper to feel better every time going to the toilet, because that's how much respect I have, frankly, deep down inside I have for it. Expensive toilet paper written by some schmuck, and by the way, I don't know, but the person that have established this law, when that person have used the electronic communication, this or another device, have offended me and made me upset. should this person go to jail now? I feel offended, upset, and annoyed.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I mean, I don't agree with the thing is, I still love Britain. I still think that Britain has tremendous.
I mean, it's a nice country to live in, but
greatness left in it.
Increasingly, the freedoms are going, frankly, are evaporating.
But yeah, exactly. It's being chipped away. You know, it's being chipped away. All the things that make Britain great is the things that are being chipped away at, and that's my fear, is that the things that actually are the pillars that hold up this society, that hold up this country, are the things that they are actually attacking. They're not attacking superficial stuff. They're attacking the core foundations of this society. And yeah, sure, the ethno-nationalists can scream about, oh, our demographic is being changed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this country was 90% white and you still had a fucking fascistic society. You still didn't have freedom of speech. You still didn't have all the core values of this country. Who gives a shit? Russia is fucking large majority white. I don't want to fucking live in Russia. I don't give a shit if it's 100% white in Russia. I still don't want to fucking live in Russia. It's not about because it's white. Russia isn't fucked up because it's white.
And the cultural mentality is creepy, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, it's not just because it's whether it's white or black. If you don't have those foundations that makes your country what it is, then it doesn't matter. I couldn't give two shits. And in all honesty, when I talk to like middle centrists or leftist white people, English white people, they say the same thing to me. They say, I'd rather live in a country that isn't 100% white, but people are not dickheads, than to live in a 100% white English country that is full of assholes. I'd rather not. I don't want to live with 100% white bunch of dickheads. Who cares if they're white, 100% white? If they're all assholes, if they're all fucking fascists, if they're all fucking conservatives who want to, put a stick in your ass and you can't watch this, you can't do this, you can't go there, you can't go here. Fuck it. The country's still going to be fucked. It's still shit. I mean, when I listen to some of these right wingers and I listen to some of their streams and their puritanic Christian fucking up their arse kind of shit,
yes.
I'm thinking, I don't want to fucking live in your country. Your country, the country that you're envisioning, the country that you want to have, is fucking awful.
And I would like them to live in Poland for a period of time. I would invite them, let them live here, and let them experience the country that they are living in, that they want to live in. To be honest, because let me tell you, Poland is not that bad as people are describing it, but it's not awesome either with the Catholic Church almighty power at times, when you cannot get your hands on the pedophile priest. They are basically the untouchable higher caste here. All other pedophiles are going to prison. At least if the police will catch them soon enough before the public will not do something to them even worse. But you get me what I'm talking about. But the pedophile priests are getting away with shit like that in Poland.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I honestly, the vision of the future that some of these Christian right-wing types wanna create is a fucking nightmare. It's like, to me, it's as bad as Iran. It's as bad as the theocracy I came from. They want to turn this. They think that the solution to this country, or to Britain, to going back to being great again, is to just make it into a Christian version of Iran. It's like, fuck off. You kiss my ass. There's no fucking way I'm gonna live under that shit. But that's the thing. They feel that is their solution. This is the problem. This is what I'm saying about these guys. They don't have solutions either, or at least their solution is just as nightmarish as
it is.
Yeah, as any other as their other sort of solutions, because it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare from all angles. Nobody wants to actually like have a reasonable sort of, let's all like live with freedoms and have people to be individually free and have autonomy over their lives and live the way they want to live. No. You have to be part of the collective. Resistance is futile. Resist the Borg. We shall adapt your uniqueness into our collective.
Well, Banksy, because the problem is that most people are sheep. They are not their own people. I mean, their own man, their own woman. Most people really are sheep. They want to follow something. We, for example, don't care. I don't care. I want to live as I want to live, in every way possible. To be honest, even I'm working on it to be totally independent and free of many other things. For example, maybe because I have put my foot down and a few years have fight for my right to be this godless, satanic little piece of shit, and they are not even engaging in conversation, and they are letting me live as I want to. But most people are cowards, also. Like even my own people, they are fucking cowards. They were when we were. I mean, when people want to set a demonstration against a Polish pedophile priest, not so long ago in my own city, most of those cowards have run away when shit hits the fan. I mean. Yes, because they were afraid of the opinion of the neighbors and opinion of everybody else, and I was like almost one of two people that I say, get him, stand up to him and confront him about it, and I don't care what's going to be on the cameras. I even if I have to admit it deep down inside, I was like, I want your blood. I want to see your blood spraying on the.
I know.
Not literally.
I wanted to just reply to a text. Timmy said Banksy says Iran is 60% Iranian and still can't live there. No, it's not that Iran is 60% Iranian. Iran is 60% Persian ethnicity, and then the rest is a mixture of Arab, Turk, Baluch, Lor, Afghan. There's a whole hodgepodge of mixes there. But the point isn't that I can't live there because it's 60% Iranian or Persian. I can't live there because it's a fucking theocratic shithole. They're fucking Muslim, and they're a theocracy to boot. They're not just Muslim, they're a fucking theocracy. I could live there if they were like Turkey. I could manage it if it was more like Turkey, or even to some extent.
I have to correct you. Turkey is going also down with Erdogan in power.
Exactly, you're right. Turkey's going down the shithole. I'm talking Turkey of like 20 years ago, not Turkey of now. Turkey of now is even fucked up.
Even putting my own country Catholics near the Turks, even from 20 years ago, we were looking like Boy Scouts compared to them.
Exactly. Banksy doesn't have to live in Iran. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks, Banksy. I'm glad that I have found you on the internet for one more thing, because to be honest, and
sorry, you broke up. You broke up.
That have lived it firsthand, know Islam firsthand, have the heritage, and nobody can debate me, frankly, because you can always confirm.
I know.
In Poland, you really want to have know the truth about Islam? Come with me. I will introduce you to one man here on the internet that lives in Britain. It's a fucking Islamic theocracy.
You broke up. Say again. Have what?
I mean, I'm glad that I found you on the internet for one more thing. You are like the antidote to any Islamophile, even. And because you have experienced those things firsthand. You first come from Iran. You have escaped from Iran, immigrated because you didn't want to go to the mosque.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not the only one. I mean, there's plenty of other Iranians who are saying the same thing. It's Sam M,
yes.
Who goes to the park. He's seen the same thing. There are plenty of Iranians who are screaming about this. I'm just trying to add to the many voices. Hopefully, our voices together will echo further afield, so that more and more people in Europe recognize what's happened in Iran and what's happened in countries where they used to be free. They used to have a free society, and theocracy took over. Theocracy and dogma took hold, and now they've gone the way they have. And the thing is, theocracy and dogma isn't exclusive just to Islam. That happens in Christianity too. That happens in all circumstances. It happens in atheist societies like Russia, Soviet Russia. Soviet Russia was an atheistic society as far as their religious.
Still a religious state.
Yeah, but they were religious in the sense of the communism. Communism was their religion.
Marx is a communist of a Leninist type. Was a religion, and
exactly.
And it was a theocracy too.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Theocracy comes in many guises, comes in many forms. Dogma and theocracy, or dogma in particular, is what we should be, fighting against. What we should be looking into, pushing back against. Is that's what really is the crux of it. Is anyone who comes to you with some sort of dogmatic belief in something, be very wary. Be wary of people who are dogmatic about their ideas and their idealized world. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking, a Labour supporter or if it's a patriotic alternative supporter. It doesn't matter where they come from. Look at what they're saying and how they're saying it. If they want to turn your world into a utopia, if they have utopian ideas, immediately be aware. Immediately put your guard up, because any cunt who comes with a utopian idea is usually going to kill a lot of people. It seems utopia can only be built on the bodies of thousands and millions of people. Utopia doesn't seem to just sort of happen, because there is no utopia, because that's the lie in itself. The core lie is the concept of a utopia. There is no such thing. There is only the struggle towards bettering your society, and it's a continuous struggle. It never ends, it never stops. It's a continuous process. You will die trying to make your nation or your world a slightly better place, and that's the best you'll ever get, is that you will die knowing that you made it slightly better, and then you shuffle off this mortal coil. And that's even if you give a shit about making your life and your world a better place. Most people just want to fucking go to work, pay their bills, raise their kids, and then die. Most people don't even give a shit about making the world a better place. There's even those who want to create the so-called utopia are a handful who give a shit. Most people, no, they're just like, I can't be fucked. I got bills to pay, man. I'm not going on marches.
Yes, but the charismatic ones should be immediately halted in this way or another, because those would be the most dangerous ones.
Exactly. But I mean, this is the thing. The only time the average guy actually gives a shit is when that society, as the sort of the bad parts of society start to infringe upon his life. They touch your life, and that's my problem. Is religion has already affected and touched my lives. I mean, I hear all the time from Muslims, oh, if you're an atheist, why do you care about Islam? What does it mean to you? It's not doing anything to your life. Yes, it fucking is. Yes, it fucking is. It did when I lived in Iran, and I was forced by, I wasn't forced, but my parents were forced to run away from a theocracy because it was a God-forsaken shithole of a life to live in. And so religion affected me then, and then religion affected me here, because now the Muslims are growing, are spreading, and are infringing and encroaching upon our lives. Every time a fucking bomber blows himself up on a bridge, yeah, that fucking affects me. Because it affects my life. It affected 9/11. Those Muslims who brought down those towers affects every one of us every time you go to an airport. Every time there's this bullshit terrorism act that Paul Golding is being held under or got convicted under. Yeah, that's because of Muslims. That law came into place because of Muslims, because of their religion. So yes, if you think religion doesn't affect your life, you're living in a cave. That's about the only way. You gotta have to go to live on the fucking moon if you think religion doesn't affect your life. That's the only place it won't affect your life. Otherwise, here on Earth, yeah, every facet of your life is touched by religion in some form or fashion. If you think religion doesn't affect your life, you're asleep. You got the blinders on, because it's every day of your life. You will find there's a reason a religious person did some shit is why you have to take off your fucking underpants before you can get on a plane. Okay, there's a reason why you say something on the internet and then the police are knocking on your door because some religious cunt did some shit and they brought in laws. Panicked. They panicked.
Yes, because they are afraid that the offended Muslims will go to the street and destroy the city, even in large numbers.
Yes, exactly.
When probably the response in my own country would be that the annoyed and infuriated public would want to burn those Muslims alive. To be honest, no. I mean, it depends also on numbers. But a few years ago, there was an incident in Poland where, in the little city of Elk, when there were 4 guys from the Middle East, all Muslims, having the restaurant there. And they have a problem with a guy that offended them, and he had thrown a firecracker in the direction of the restaurant. For this firecracker, he's been stabbed to death. Yes, in Poland, in Elk. Sure. But the reaction of the public was on the next day, after the police have took those people, was that they have vandalized and destroyed the restaurant, like totally. There's even a movie on the internet with that. I have to just find the version where the police was right there when that furious crowd have destroyed that place, and they haven't. They were like they didn't react. The police were like standing somewhere a little bit far away, watching that, and they have only intervened when they have thought maybe it's time to pacify this crowd because they may want to destroy anything else. Well, anyway, there was an exchange of violence between the police and the crowd anyway, so...
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Dude, thank you so much, MC. I'm going to have to end this one because I've got another phone call to make very, very soon, so I have to go sort that out. But for now, I'm going to... Yeah, this was just a... Believe it or not, this was supposed to be a test for just to see if Restream works, and that's it. I wasn't intending to actually do anything else with this. But it seems to be a good test. I seem to have multiple platforms all running. We'll see the results of how this unfolds. But thank you for coming on, dude. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'll do a proper show at another time where I've got other things and more sort of. I do have a bunch of stuff which I want to talk about, but this was meant to be just a short little test. But thank you, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure and goodbye.
Take care. Bye. Okay, boys and girls, we are done for another day. I don't know. And this was supposed to be short. I'm still 2 hours in though. Crazy that it's 2 hours of streaming, and this was meant to be just a quick little test. But thank you for coming. I hope the guys on Periscope and DLive and Twitch. I don't really know. I don't really care at this point. Oh my God, there is someone on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers. There's some fucking dude. There's some bots commenting in my fucking Twitch comment. Yeah, go over to Twitch and open an account and subscribe to me. I need the subs. I need the subs on Twitch. I don't know. I think YouTube is becoming a bit of a shitty platform now. I'm getting disappointed with YouTube day and day, so I'm going to increase my Restream and just stream on other platforms just to start building an audience there, because I just don't like YouTube anymore. YouTube is pissing me off. Is gay. Twitch is gay. Hey, there's a lot of Thots on Twitch, putting out their breastises and pretending to know how to play games. Mark, this was not a full-on stream. I will bring out the wheel at another time. Thank you, Banksy and guests. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guests. Thank you, Warkettle. Thank you, MC. Love you guys. This was, again, I say, not a major stream. But now I'm actually kind of struggling. Not struggling, but I'm kind of looking for a bit of music to play us out. What to play? Oh, God. This might be good. We were talking about religion. I do like this song. I'm going to play it anyway because I just like it and it's awesome. So I'm going to play us out with a little bit of Hungarian dance, number 1. Hans Bram. It's a cool song. I like this song. So I'm just going to play it. Well, guys, I know this diverted a little bit from dating, but if you guys are dating on during the lockdown, remember the principles of dating never changes. You still have to be a nice, charming guy. Don't be a dick about it. And if the girl doesn't like you, just move on to another girl. There's 4.5 billion women on the planet. You really just want one good one, and there's one good one out there for you. There is for everyone. Believe me. If this can pick up women, you have no fucking excuse. So stop sitting there fucking cracking one out on I'm not gonna diss you for cracking one out on Pornhub, but the minute you finish cracking one out on Pornhub, go date a woman. Go date a real woman, make a connection, and you know, establish a bond with a human being. It is far better to have real sex than to crack one out on Pornhub. And that's me saying that. As much as I love Pornhub or any kind of pornography, I have no problem with pornography. Don't listen to these fucking Christian and right-wing uptight pricks who tell you how pornography is terrible and how it's ruining your mind. No, it's not. It's perfectly fine. You can enjoy pornography just like you can enjoy chocolates and coke and alcohol and cigarettes. You can enjoy everything in moderation. It's perfectly fine. Just don't become a gluttonous pig about it. Yo. Talking about gluttony. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle fucking black? But either way, enjoy everything in moderation, even porn, but try to date real women. It's still okay to date women. Don't become a simp. Don't become a beggar. Don't be too thirsty and beg women for their vagina. Be a man, hold your own, hold your head up high. You have value, and your value isn't based on how many women you can get in your life. But still, make a connection, a real connection with a woman, and adore and love the relationship you're in. And if you're married and you have a relationship, then congratulations. I hope it's working out. And occasionally, you know, be loving and charming to your wife too. Don't take her for granted, and hopefully she won't take you for granted. You know, love each other, I think is the real message here. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Have a great week. I'll try and catch up with you guys either Friday or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. See how things go. I might do another stream tomorrow or Friday. Most likely Friday. I'm definitely doing a stream on Saturday with Amy K. So we've got that lined up. I'll try and give you guys a bit more info on that as closer to time, because it's not set in stone. We may do it, we may not. I haven't done a stream with Amy for a while. She's awesome. You know she's awesome. She's just a top girl. Cool, chilled, you know, great YouTuber. Anyway, do your thing, and also subscribe to me on Twitch. Subscribe to me on DLive. I'm not even sure if I'm live on DLive. I am also on Periscope, but you need to follow me on Twitter to get that. And yeah, all these fucking platforms. Yeah, just go over there and just do a bukkake of Banksy subscribing to me everywhere. I don't know. Fuck it. Have a good one, everyone, and don't forget, tickle your ass with a feather. Ciao.